Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another session of Data Structures and Algorithms. My name is Dr. Bilal Wajid, and in this lecture, we're going to talk about linked lists. Now, this is an extension of our earlier lecture where we introduced lists, where we talked about linked lists, double linked lists, and circular linked lists. In this particular lecture, we're actually going to talk about all the basic functions which are needed within the linked list data structure. Okay? So, before we do that, how do we program a single component of the linked list? Well, it's actually fairly easy. You use a structure. Now, I'm using the structure by the name of element. So now I can assign multiple variables to be stored within this element. Okay, as we can see, we need a pointer and we need some variables in there. So by integer value, you can put in some value and you can initialize it to anything. And then you need a pointer. The pointer next actually points to the next element. So hence the pointer next is able to point to another element. By using this simple programming code, you can now program any single component of the data structure. So how do we combine multiple elements? It's actually quite easy. You declare a pointer A that can point to an element. Now when you write A has been assigned as new element, two things happen. The first is a new element is created in the memory. So what it happens, the operating system allocates within a memory a portion equal to the size of an element. It allocates that. Once that is allocated and fixed, A has been assigned new element. What it does, A now stores the address and hence points to this location of the memory where a single element is present. Now, then you can just initialize. So the value that A points to has been initialized to 90. We see that here. And next that A points to has been initialized to null. So we see the pointer next now points to null. You can do the same thing with B. So B is a pointer that can point to element. B has been assigned as new element, allocates within a memory a portion equal to the size of the element, and B now points to it. In other words, it stores the address of this entire location. And then you can initialize the value and next variables of this element, where value has been initialized to 100 and next now points to null. Now that we have two elements, how do we connect them? It's actually fairly easy. What you do is that A's next now has been assigned to B. So A's next now points to B and B's next points to null. This is our complete two element linked list. Now you can extend it easily by saying that B's next now points to C and C's next points to D and D's next points to E and E's next, let's say, points to null. That way you can easily extend a linked list to have as many number of elements as you want, and you can easily delete, and we would see how we do that in the next lecture, in the next coming lectures. Now, these are the basic functions of a linked list. We're going to start with create. So we need two global variables, specifically length and start. This actually makes the rest of the program very easy because length is needed to let us know what is the current length of the linked list, right? It's initialized to 0 because right now at the beginning there is no linked list, hence length is 0. But because length is 0, it is a global variable now and every function has access to it. So a function like add, whenever you add an element, you need to update. So the length is incremented by 1. And whenever you delete an element, you need access to this variable so that you can delete a variable or you can decrement the variable by 1 or decrease it by 1. And then we need a pointer that can point to our linked list. Because initially our linked list is empty, start has to point to null. Okay, so start has been initialized to null. Okay, and with these two variables you would realize that all our functions have now the return type void, because technically you don't need to really return anything. Because start is a global variable, it gets updated to point always to the first element of the linked list, and length tends to store what is the current length of the linked list. So you need an integer x because you need to update value for an element. So there are two options. The first is there is already a linked list, right? So if length is not equal to 0, you go to else and you just say sorry to the user. The linked list is non-empty. Maybe you shouldn't be invoking the create function. Maybe you should be invoking the add function. And then you can just tell him and exit, hence return. But the next part is, what if the length is actually equal to 0? Well, if the length is equal to 0, start should be pointing to null. Start should rather now be pointing to an element. And start has been assigned as new element, now allocates within the memory a portion equal to the size of this element, and has been assigned, now allows start to store the address of this entire location. So then start's value has been updated to x. We see that here x was our input, we've updated our value, and start's next points to null. Now obviously, because we are creating a linked list, initially the linked list was empty and start was pointing to null. Now linked list has only one element, so the next has to point to null. And because there's only one element, remember length was initially 0, now length has to be incremented. Okay, that really makes our create function. Okay, my recommendation now is really do try these codes before you move on to the next lecture. You will learn programming by programming it, not by simply listening to these lectures. You need to learn to do this, and these codes you should really try them yourself and compile them and see how they work. Okay, if you like this video, press thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified to new videos. Up until next time, thank you very much. Bye bye.